our listeners are here to talk about the Orkney Bowl and perhaps get some wisdom from Dr. Pez. So, Dr. Pez, how are we doing in this year's Orkney Bowl? Yeah.
Awful.
Such as, which player would you rather not face in the playoffs? Like, which guy do you see taking off and being on fire, and you just don't want to play that guy's team at all?
I'd say my season's been terrible. And I'll kind of answer the top and the bottom one, because what have I learned going forward is re-looking at my draft. Just don't pick Drake London before Keenan Allen. That's a good start. And to be honest, don't go so high on a quarterback, because I went Lamar Jackson first round, and a lot of people did that. A lot of people went, because of the scoring system, they went high on quarterback. Unless it's Josh Allen, I genuinely don't think with the scoring system you actually need to, like I said, unless you've got a Josh Allen, I'd say Lamar, but Lamar's been so up and down this year that I had him, and like this 47 points this week, like I said, but then next week couldn't even get 20. Like, he's just so up and down, he's so weird. So I think, like, look at Debo's points this week, 40 points. I honestly think don't get lost in the scoring system too much and big brain your picks. Kind of just go who's like a top guy in fantasy and just go, I'm going to have him, and don't get too carried away with it. There's a few intricacies like the extra point on the tight end. If you've got a top tight end, but they've been all over the place this year, I think it's going to be one of them, like in the off-season when we break down a few of the teams at the very top and see what they did and how they drafted and stuff, it might give us a better insight. But for myself, it's more, don't overthink it. Don't just think, because of the scoring system, go quarterback straight away. Just see actually what's on the board before you rush into making your pick so quickly. And because for a while I thought that IDP spot is quite valuable, but then I was looking at it with another guy who plays the league, and we were looking at a few teams, and I think the guy at the bottom of my league went really high on defensive players, and he's right at the bottom. So them IDP spots actually might not be as valuable as I first thought. That's what
IDP is so unpredictable as well.
What was that, sorry?
The IDPs, I mean, they're so unpredictable. They're like a solid RB2. One week they're going to break out and get 40 points for you, but usually they're going to get something not like that.
Yeah.
One week they'll win the week for you, and the rest of the time you just never know what they're going to get.
Yeah, I think
they can get 10 points one week and 9 points. You just never know.
I think,
but if you get
I think it's also,
if you get the right IDP, it can make a difference. But I agree. I don't think they're that important.
Yeah. I think also it's... Have we got a lag? Is there a lag?
Oh my goodness.
Right.
The highest score of the year is 325. That's a lot, though, man. That's a lot. Wow. So for me, as far as the player, I would not want to play any team that had Kyren Williams down the stretch. I think McVay is wanting to prove a point. He's going to be running the ball, and that guy seems to be scoring points like crazy. I would not want to be playing against that guy in the playoffs.
For me, you make a very solid point here, and the first person that came to my mind was I wouldn't personally want to face CMC. I know it might be an easy pick to pick, but just look at his running. he's got. I'd imagine the guy who has CMC is probably at the top of his league with a bye, but he's got Arizona, Baltimore, and I don't think Baltimore's run defense is that great anymore. And the way they scheme CMC up, he'll still get his points. And then Washington in the final. If you go into that final and that other guy's got CMC, you've just got to pray to freaking God that he pulls a hammy or something early on. Because
and the Eagles keep winning. As long as the Eagles keep winning, CMC is going to be playing.
Yeah. Well, the 49ers, not the Eagles.
Well, yeah, but if the Eagles lose and the Cowboys lose,
I'm with you.
Then it's not so important in the last game against the Commanders that CMC plays.
Also,
right? They're probably sitting.
Shanahan's a psychopath and likes to play all his top players to the very end of a game because I swear he just wants to get them injured. He's a bloody idiot, man.
Oh. Well, I can remember every year. Who was it? The Indianapolis Colts. Man, they would always rest their starters, and they'd get beat every year. I'm not a big guy on resting the players, but maybe at halftime, let them sit.
Here's another one for you, Paul. What do you think to this guy? Because he's been very quiet the last couple of weeks, but his stretch is Seattle, Giants, Arizona. And that's A.J. Brown.
Talking about that. Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking about Brown, right? Yeah. He's ready. He's primed for a breakout.
Well, he's had a really, since the bye, he's had a really quiet, inaudible point scoring. He's had 4, 16, 23, and 20 this last game. But then if you look at the very start of the year where he had a stretch run of really easy defenses, 18-8, and then 27, 45, 23. And then against another easy defense in the Commanders, 37.5. I'll tell you now for fact, our cornerbacks aren't having the greatest time at the moment. I don't think we'll hold him at bay the whole game because once he starts getting into the middle of the field and starts roaming around, I think he'll start breaking out, getting the opportunities.
Yeah, there you go. Johnny's got AJ.
Yeah.
He's saying Tyreek Hill. Yeah, but of course, Tyreek Hill's, yeah. Certainly. He's going for that record.
Yeah. But you look at the running for the Dolphins, Tennessee should have a good day. The Jets, he should have another really good day. But then Dallas, Tennessee's not really included because they've got to play tonight. So their playoff run is the Jets, the Cowboys, the Ravens. Now, Tua will get it done, but Tyreek will get it done, but will Tua be able to get it done with them defenses? That's the big question. Even though what Sleeper classes as hard defense, the Dolphins have come up against Denver, the Panthers for some reason, and the Jets, what they class as red really hard. He's had 38, 33, and 32 points.
Nice.
So maybe...
I'm going on a sleeper here.
Oh, go on.
I think Cortland Sutton.
Fair enough.
Yeah. He seems to have found his rhythm with Wilson. And he's been having, I think, 10 touchdowns already this season.
Yeah.
That's a solid year, man.
He's having a monster year this year.
Yeah. I traded him at the beginning of the season for a second. I can't believe I did that.
Anyway. In my home league, I traded him. Well, I dropped him, thinking I'll pick him up the next week. And then my brother sniped him from me, and he's enjoyed that ever since.
Yeah. That's why you're 2-11 in the Orkney Bowl, man. Moves like that.
No, I'm gonna be 3. No, 4. I'm a 4, 3, 4.
We're 3-11.
I'm 4. One minute. I might have been you slighting me. 1 minute. I'm gonna be 4-10.
Nice. Nice.
Embarrassing.
Hey, man, I can't speak much better. Until I won 6 out of 8.
It's ever
And I
since.
think I won those because I kept playing like every team that their quarterback was going down that week. So it's like I just kept winning
my, my,
every
my
week.
luck in the Orkney Ball's got a lot better ever since Johnny made me my fancy new logo. I feel like the logo's done me some done me some credit.
Yeah, there you go. I'm looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to next year.
So what have
All right,
you?
Johnny, what do we got on the next page here, buddy?
Fantasy Couch with Dr. Pez.
What is this?
Fantasy Couch with Dr.
The
Pez.
fantasy couch.
Fantasy Couch with Dr. Pez.
All
Oh
right,
Jesus!
Dr. Pez. Every time I don't know why when I say Dr. Pez, I think of the Pez dispenser and your bald head on top of the Pez light.
Every time I talk shit, that someone's lifting my head.
Yeah, my little Pez dispenser.
Oh fucking hell!
Pez.
Right, why is this?
So, Dr.
Stop
Pez,
working.
with so many injuries, what injury replacements are you starting during the playoffs? Which ones are you staying away from? For example, tight end. I say Isaiah Likely is a go every week from now on. He scored, I think, 17 points last week or 27. I can't remember. It's something with the 7.
I'll see if I can get
And
it up
I
now.
think Isaiah Likely is proving to be a good replacement for Andrews that continually gets hurt every year.
Yep.
What other guys do you think that we should start or should stay away from?
Well, I was going to say Likely as well, but you are right. He got 27.35 fantasy points last night, 83 yards and a touchdown. He has a tricky-ish schedule in the playoffs. He's got a good first round, but then he plays San Francisco and then Miami. I'm not as scared to play him against Miami than I am San Francisco with the San Francisco defense. He may transition more into a blocking tight end than the receiving tight end we saw last night. So even though he is the one to target, really, you've just got to be careful with putting all your eggs in his basket. Backups wise, it's so hard because by this point they're all kind of taken, aren't they? You could ride the Kyle Pitts train. Kyle Pitts. Well, Kyle Pitts. Funny enough, yeah,
he's been getting 15 plus points, I think, on a regular occasion the last 5 or 6 weeks.
He's been getting the targets. Yeah, definitely. These last 2 weeks, 15.3 and an 18.8. 4 receptions, 3 receptions with his touchdown, 57 yards, and then his playoff schedule is the Panthers, the Colts, and the Bears. Now the thing with Kyle Pitts is listening to other fantasy podcasts and stuff. They made the point that he doesn't look 100%. From when he got injured last year, he's not playing. He's playing in a certain way, whereas since the bye, he seems to be getting more targets more frequently. What makes you think, is he now a bit more healthier? That if you're in a really bleak situation, he might be your throw-in because his schedule towards the back end isn't actually that bad. And the Falcons are always going to be in every game because they're so close at winning their division. So if he's getting the targets, it might just be, a knock-on effect that you might sneak. Yeah. Could you imagine if you won your division with Kyle Pitts? That would be hilarious.
Man, I drink the Kool-Aid with Pitts, and I have him on several teams because I was getting him on the cheap. If anyone was trading him for a second, I'm giving you a second for Pitts. And I have him on several teams. He hasn't... I would say that I think he has more solid weeks of 12 plus points than 12 less points. Am I right?
Yeah.
Do you have his stats there?
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll go and find him again. Let me find him.
Let's see. He
12.
has, let's see, there's
So yeah, 1 minute.
1,
1, 2,
2.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has 8 games out of 13 what are all double digits. Now, if we're talking about injuries
Okay.
this late into the season, you're not getting anyone above him. I'll read the list out quickly for like the top tight ends in the Orkney Bowl. You've got Hawkinson, no chance. Kelsey, no chance. Evan Ingram, no chance. Laporta, no chance. Kittle, Komet, Njoku, McBride, Ferguson, Kincaid.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews is still 11th, even though he's done for the season. Then you hit Kyle Pitts. I reckon Taysom Hill is on more teams than Kyle Pitts is.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I think here when they're thinking injury replacements, I think they're thinking backups like Jake Browning. Is Jake Browning good enough to start during the playoffs? Drew Lock?
Drew Lock probably won't. Like, depending on... Why won't Browning come up here? Depending...
I mean, what injury replacements, meaning the backups that are playing today, right? Like Kyron Williams. He's a backup, actually.
Do you know...
I would start him every week.
Do you know, on quarterback, you said Browning. I'd be surprised if he's even available. If he is, then yeah, he is.
Yeah, but would you play him?
Well, look at his games since he's come in. 13, that was the game he took over Burrow. Then 15 against the Steelers. And then 36 and 31. He plays the Vikings. He plays the Vikings, the Steelers again, and the Chiefs. It isn't pretty, but with what will be available on the waiver wire at quarterback, you've got to just pick him and close your eyes. I think he would probably be the best available out there.
I don't think they're looking for the waiver wire replacements. I think they're just asking what backups would you trust? Like, say you had Joe Burrow. Would you play Jake Browning?
Right, I'm with.
In the playoffs?
I was just thinking whether it was, replacements as in picking up another quarterback.
Right, I got you.
So
I got you.
In that sense,
this is my question, and I did not word it correctly.
No, that's all right. So if it's the backup of that player, I'd play.
Yeah, like Isaiah Likely is backing up.
I'm with you. Okay.
So I would say Likely is a good play.
Yes, I'd say Browning when we're talking about Orkney Bowl. I think he is. I think as a replacement, he's had 2 good weeks. Saying that though, isn't he dusted as well? Didn't he go off injured?
Browning, I think he did actually.
Yeah, I think
some other guy I think did, but I think he'll be all right. Joe Flacco.
No,
not
a chance.
Not a chance. Nick Mullins. Josh Dobbs.
No, I personally say I'd expect. Is it Jaron Hall, the rookie, or?
Yeah, is he gonna play next week?
I think he'll be back.
I'd play him. Why not? I mean, if I was McConnell, I'd go with the rookie.
But yeah, Dobbs.
Why not? So, see what he's got.
The thing is that the shit situation is Browning, Dobbs, Flacco, all them types of quarterback. I always call them middling quarterbacks because they're the traps, really, because they have a good couple of games, but then teams get enough tape on them. Like Joe Flacco is having 2 really nice games because of the teams he's played. But once he plays an aggressive front 7, he'll be toast. He'll be done. He's 38 years old.
He won't be able to.
Once he gets hit early, he'll get hit often, and he won't win an all before. So, for example, the Browns against the Niners front 7, he'd be toast. I wouldn't go anywhere near him. Like, no chance.
Any running back replacements would you backups would you play?
I'd take a punt on, because Jacobs went out yesterday. I don't know how bad his injury is, but I'd take a punt on the Raiders backup running backs. That Zamir White's never really had the chance to show whether he can do it, but Abdullah has shown that he potentially could. So, if we're talking about the backup, and with this late into the season, if I do just kind of blend them in with the waiver wire, I would go with the backup of Jacobs, just because of the way that team functions. I think they'll just get enough work that will probably sneak you into a nice week.
Madison, I think, came out injured, and Ty Chandler took a lot of snaps. Ty Chandler worth playing.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're looking for an RB2 or your
he definitely
your
is
flex, deep flex, 3 slot.
He was getting a lot of targets in the passing dump offs and stuff like that. And look at Dobbs, Mullins, Hall. You'll expect him to get loads of them off all three of them. So he could just PPR his way into a decent enough game when you're talking about a replacement this deep into the season. So yeah, he's definitely worth a pickup if Madison is out for a long time.
This is definitely the season that I've noticed teams with a deep bench have generally been the teams that win.
Yeah.
Because, there's so many star players that have gone down this season. The teams that had JJ, man, they're cursing him right now.
Dobbs has got him killed. What is he doing over the middle of the field, man?
Oh, my God. Yeah. But yeah, to me, the hit didn't look that ferocious, but it hit him right in the open part.
Yeah, he hit him
right, and so I can just imagine the pain.
Yeah,
that someone coming in full speed and hitting you with a hard piece of plastic.
Yeah, 100%.
I can just imagine.
But you make a very valid point. Them Vikings receivers, Addison, you can't really talk about him, but Osborne, you've got Powell, who's kind of just like a bit part.
Addison.
Well, you can't really talk about Addison because realistically he's going to be rostered, isn't he? He's not really the backup. He is essentially the 1B because Justin.
He's the wide receiver. Right? Yeah.
But he technically is the 1B because Jefferson's the 1A at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? JJ's been out that long. Addison technically is the one because he's been so absent.
Now he's the one.
Yeah.
He is, yes. Which Addison, I think next year could have one of those breakout years, man.
Well,
depending on who the quarterback is for Minnesota.
Yeah.
If Cousins comes back, I'll be all over Addison.
Yeah, because if you think about JJ when he had Thielen there, it worked better for him. To just not always be hyper target. And you got Hawkinson and you got a decent three-headed monster, but like you said, you need that quarterback.
And if I was a Vikings fan, I would be concerned about JJ being on my team next year. The Vikings management has shown repeatedly in years past they don't pay wide receiver ones. They got rid of Moss. They got rid of Harvin. They got rid of Diggs. Now they got JJ.
Yep.
When he's asking for that $40 million per year,
He's already.
I can see them saying thank you.
He's already stated, hasn't he, that if they don't re-sign Cousins, he's more tempted to go wherever Cousins goes because he likes the partnership with him. That's what apparently came out and said before the start of the season.
Man.
Right, is that...
Quarterbacks mean so much to a wide receiver.
Yep. Is there anyone else you want to hit on out of this list?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think we did a pretty exhaustive list on that anyway.
Yep.
Pretty good topic. Johnny, let's see what we got. Up here next. What players? Top 15 players, mind you, in scoring. Perhaps not position by position, just the top 15. Would you be most concerned about down the stretch? Maybe we don't need to go position by position here.
No.
but if you're looking at the top 15 scorers, I think you could probably name a few that might cause some concern or heartburn if you have to play.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look now. Do you know? Here's one for you.
Stroud, is he top 15?
Here's one for you. In ball scoring, the 10th overall player on the year, Keenan Allen. If I had Keenan Allen, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
I'd be really scared.
Good one.
Really.
Very down.
He stands out. And do you know another one? For how good he's been, if you've got Stroud, be very, very
That's
cautious.
what I was thinking. Stroud,
Look what happened to him last night. 0 weapons, couldn't move the ball. He lost his 3 main weapons, got nothing going.
Oh, man.
He's in concussion protocol. They've got the Titans, the Browns, the Titans. With no Tank Dell. How bad's Nico Collins? Sorry, my dog's kicking off because she thinks she's...
And then Noah Brown is hurt.
1 second.
His top 3 wide receivers are all hurt.
Sorry about that.
Well, Lawrence is going to play, right? Lawrence is actually going to play with his high ankle sprain. Herbert, I think he's out for the season. Why risk your $45 million quarterback for a loss?
Herbert's done for the season, yeah. So he's no point even talking about because he's done.
But I would be worried about Quentin Johnston or Allen or any of those guys on the San Diego team at this point. Palmer, I would not play any of them.
None of them are top 15 except for Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is the biggest one on this list because Orkney ball scoring, the list ends with Trevor Lawrence. And to be fair, Trevor Lawrence surprised me. 30 points he put up on a bad ankle in Orkney ball scoring. He has the Ravens, but the Ravens are... He got nothing going the whole game. And then in the second half, almost like he got his confidence on his ankle and he was running, he was doing it, it didn't look like he was bothered. So the Ravens defense doesn't worry me because he proved it against the Browns defense and they were playing tough. Then he has the Bucks, what isn't as intimidating as it used to be. And then his final week is against the Panthers. So I'm not that worried about Trevor Lawrence because of what he showed me last night. But Stroud and Keenan Allen are the ones in overall ranking are the ones who scare me the most. Also,
I like the Allen.
Chuck Tua in there as well. As an individual, he's got the Titans. He should have a good game against the Titans. He's got the Jets, where he only scored 13 points in Orkney ball scoring the first week of your playoffs. So you got to be careful with that. Then he goes to Dallas. Shouldn't be too bad because that could just turn into a shootout. And then he finishes on Baltimore. So I'd be really, really careful with...
that's a tough finish.
Yeah. So I'd say them. Yeah. I'd say Keenan Allen is the number one for me.
That's like 5 of the top 15, man.
Keenan Allen is the number one for me, though.
I agree. 100%.
Do you want a tight end? I chuck a tight end in there. Actually, Hockenson. I was going to say Hockenson, but I think the schedule is... The teams are easy enough that no matter who, if it's Mullins, Dobbs, or Hall, I reckon he'll be all right. I think he'll be safe. But still, Hockenson, just keep a little thing, just pay attention to who the quarterback is, and maybe if you've got a backup who has a better schedule, maybe even don't get fooled by the name. Don't go, oh, it's Hockenson, so I've got to play him because that quarterback could kill him. Like last night. What did he get last night? 16. In Orkney ball scoring, compared to the rest of his year, he's only scored less than 20. 1, 2, 3,
Oh
4.
my. Yeah.
4 times out of 13 weeks, less than 20 points, and a lot of his points are high 20s, 30s into 40s. 16
Yeah.
points.
I have Hawkinson. I like it, man.
Just
He's been great. I love him.
he is great, but just be careful. Just be careful with that quarterback situation.
Yeah, it's the time of the year that you always have one or two teams that have dominated the fantasy regular season league, right? And then the playoffs come, and you have some 6-7 or 7-16 that barely squeaked in the playoffs that just comes in and murders everybody for the last 3 weeks of the season and wins the championship. It always seems to be that way.
If you want one, because obviously when next record will be in the first week of the playoffs, I'll just chuck a little extra question to you, Paul, but I'll give my answer. The player I think who's not in the top 15, but who will end up in the top 15 and potentially win someone their league is AJ Brown. I'm quite confident he's going to finish really hot at the back end of the year.
I think that can certainly be a solid choice, and I will have to think about this and give you that answer next week.